Hi, just trying to show you how we organize the class. We ended up deciding on going with Google Slides for a couple of reasons. One was that I could hyperlink it, so I only stored information that they needed on the first page and then hyperlinked everything else. And you can hyperlink slides so that they could go to a different slide and there'd be more information about something else. And the second reason is that when the first slide comes, it will load up. And when they get the second slide, it could take a minute or two depending on the systems that they're on. So they weren't stopped waiting. So when I did that with Google Docs, my page was so long, and I tried to include everything that they needed because I was using it synchronously, meaning all together, and asynchronously, them by themselves. And so because I was using the slides, I could do that and have every piece of information that we probably needed for the lesson, but at the same time they didn't have to see it if they didn't need it. So that helped with executive functioning and planning, and it also helped with loading the software depending on the speed of the operating systems. The other thing I did was I created groups. So I was lucky to have Miss Burton and Miss Rector. I didn't get them right away, but as the year went on, so I started training Miss Rector, and then Miss Burton came along. I trained her as well, and gave them one thing to do each because it was just easier planning. So Miss Burton did the math, and Miss Rector did the language arts with me, and then I took a group as well, and I might drop in to listen in on their groups to see what it was that they were doing. The UDL part in here is I hyperlinked everything. Now, if you had somebody using a screen reader because they were visually impaired, I might have to put these links all the way out in their full with their full URLs. But because that wasn't who my class was, it's something I didn't do. But I did add images because some of my students' literacy numbers are weak. And so an image might help direct them to the task that I was talking about or wanted them to do. And even with all of the visual supports that I had in here, there'd be days where I'd have to drop the link in to wherever it was that I wanted the students to go. And that worked too for my convenience because everything, again, was hyperlinked, and it made it pretty easy to get a link and then just drop it in, and then they had access to it. Hopefully we won't have to create individual classrooms. There'll be breakout rooms in the fall, but I did create individual classrooms, and we stayed off of the Google Class link one. We met there, but then we'd break off into these other classes because too many people on the system wasn't great for it. And then the other thing was that when we talk, everybody else could listen even if we were in another room. So we all left the main room once everybody was able to log in and log out. So that gives you an idea of what we did with the program.